Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show. I'm MKT, Cliff Central Sport. Welcome to it. Thursday, the 4th of February. Good times. Good to be alive in this time. Made it. Yes. Feel good about that. Like, share, subscribe, by the way, Cliff Central Sport on all social media platforms. And hey, today we're going to get straight into it. Liverpool fans, tough time. It ain't easy it ain't easy. It ain't easy at the top, huh? It ain't easy at the top. And then we'll finish off with Eden Hazard. He's going through some stuff, huh? He is going through some stuff. Tell you my thoughts on the Eden Hazard situation. He's injured again. But we'll start off with the Liverpool situation. And before I get going, remember, go to betway.co.za. I think it is. Otherwise, just go to Betway South Africa on YouTube and all social media platforms. The Way to Go show with me and a very Polish guy called Ben Kopinski, everyone's favorite, the bounce himself, right? We have a show going called The Way to Go show. I make 5 picks a week, by the way. If you're in the sports gambling world, I'm making 5 locks every week. It's a given. It's a given. So go and support that. A like, share, subscribe. Otherwise, I'm MKT Inspires on social media. You can hit me up there. You are welcome to slide in the DMs. Otherwise, sport@cliffcentral.com. Remember, like, share, subscribe this show as well. And the changes that'll be happening over the month will be announced. But just stay aware. Stay alert. I'm giving you what now feels probably like a month's warning. We will be moving to midday to 2 p.m. So if you have a boss at work, or if they play terrible music at work and you're like, oh, I hate this, but I have to do this work and tolerate these people without throttling them, then I'll be keeping you company 12 to 2 every single day. And you're welcome. You are welcome, by the way. Sport@cliffcentral.com if you want to get a hold of me. MKT Inspires on social media. Otherwise, it is Cliff Central Sport or Cliff C Sport if you are on the Tweet Monster. All right, let's get into it. Liverpool, huh? Oh, that was Brighton at home. Brighton and Burnley after going all those games undefeated. Tough going. But listen, the great skill in life, all sort of, there's always these book smart people. Book smart people generally don't really know when to walk away from things, because generally if you're book smart, you tend to have the ego to think you can figure anything out. But the great skill in life, the great human skill from all the great people I consider intelligent, because I'm after, I don't want to be smart, right? By the time I'm 50 or so, I want to be intelligent. And the slight difference for me is anybody who's smart can be a parrot, right? Parrots are smart. But I like intelligent people. They feel the room. They feel the mood. They feel the time to go. And I think the great skill in life is to know when to walk away, because it's very, very hard. What you need to do is to be able to separate your emotions from what you have to do. Again, I always say it is separate the principle from your feelings. What's the principle? What's the right thing to do, even if I don't like it? I've always said in my leadership, I never want to like my leaders. I don't want to love my leaders. I don't want to fawn over them. I don't want to be besotted with my leaders. I want a little bit in my leader, something I dislike. Angela Merkel, she's a little bit cold. You know what I mean? It's a little bit cold. I like that, because at some stage, she's been making decisions that are unpopular. JF Kennedy, for all of his, there was the unlikable side of him, but he had to make some decisions, right? Think of all the great leaders. Elon Musk, emotionally disconnected, seems a little bit like he's an alien. I like that, because leaders at some stage must make decisions that are going to go against the popular vote. And we know now from history, people, the masses are always wrong. They are always wrong. 99.9% of the time, the masses are wrong. That's not me saying that. That's the annals of history. You then have to ask yourself this question, right? And I often ask this to myself, but to friends as well, is, in relationships, would you rather have 2 sensational years or 10 average years? You got to ask yourself these questions. And in Jurgen Klopp, I think Liverpool have that dilemma now. They've had 2 unbelievable years. 2 unbelievable years. But what do they do now? Do they stick with Klopp or move on? All right? Do you stick with Klopp or move on? Because being with Jurgen Klopp is really like dating a model, like a cover model, right? High intensity, great nights out, parties on the yacht, but that gets pretty old pretty quickly if they're high maintenance. And that's what Jurgen Klopp will be. That personality type, it's awesome. It is awesome. It's electricity. But it's always nicer if somebody's, I don't know, a model with connections and other good-looking friends and wild friends. It's always nicer if that girlfriend or boyfriend is somebody else's and you see them once a week. It's a whole different level if you've got to deal with it. It's a whole different level. I've dated a model before, and I was wild at the time, and it was even too much for me. Jurgen Klopp's going to be high maintenance, not because he's a bad person. Please don't confuse me saying Jurgen Klopp's a bad person or not mature. He's clearly magnificent at what he does. But that personality type takes a very, very special type of accommodation. Liverpool have a decision to make: is do you stick with Klopp because he burns you out pretty quickly, or do you move on? Or do you move on? Now, if you pick Jurgen Klopp, which is what some Liverpool fans will want, let's just remember one thing. This previous generation took 5 years to build. And let me tell you why that's important. I think you're about to lose Mo Salah, Gini Wijnaldum. I think Bobby Firmino is probably going to go. And Virgil van Dijk, what do you do if Bayern Munich say, here's 90 million pounds? What do you do if Real Madrid say, here's 90 million pounds? What do you do if PSG say, here's 90 million pounds? Barca, Madrid, Bayern, maybe not so much Barca. We've seen what the problem is there financially. What do you do if Bayern Munich say, Virgil van Dijk, 90 million pounds? He's 30 years old. Real Madrid. Listen, Varane's probably, Sergio Ramos is done at Real Madrid. They need Virgil van Dijk. So you're going to lose Salah, Wijnaldum, Firmino, Virgil van Dijk. Last time Jurgen Klopp arrived in the building, he took 5 years to rebuild the program. 5 years. Listen, folks, it's his 6th year right now at Liverpool. Let's just look at people are who they are, not who you want them to be. People are who they are. Jurgen Klopp at Mainz lasted 7 years. It ended up in relegation. Jurgen Klopp lasted 7 years at Dortmund. It was a mess for the last 2 years. The last year in particular was awful. It was tragic. He burns places out, not because he's a bad person, but that personality type's hard. It's hard on people. Folks, if you have any friends that are models or like that high intensity, they're always the life of the party, they are great. They are great for a weekend, for a day, half a day, maybe. They're a nightmare for a lifetime. Folks, I've dated a model. I have high maintenance friends. High energy. Jurgen Klopp is short term. 7 years at Mainz, 7 years at Dortmund. He's in his 6th year at Liverpool. The alarm bell should be ringing now. Now it's fork in the road time. Right? Listen, I like Jurgen Klopp. I do. I love everything he brings to the game. He's a great character. But I think he's worn his time out at Liverpool. Folks, the great skill in life is when to walk away. I ask you again, would you rather have 2 years of unbelievable in a relationship or 10 years of mediocre? Because if Jurgen Klopp stays another 5 years, I don't know if they're going to come back and have it like this again. Personally, I take 2 years of great and I walk away. That's what I do. What I'd do if I was Liverpool at the end of the season, and in fact, I'd probably see how the Champions League goes. As soon as they get knocked out of the Champions League, you have a conversation with Jurgen Klopp. Listen, it's been great. It's time to go. You know why you got to go that way is in the ideal world, you want to try and keep Mo Salah, you want to try and keep Virgil van Dijk and Sadio Mane. You can lose Firmino, you can lose Wijnaldum. but you lose those other guys. Virgil van Dijk, that's tough. It's going to cost you 90 million pounds to replace him. Right? Sadio Mane, it's going to cost you 200 million pounds to replace him. Unless you get Mbappe, how do you replace Sadio Mane or Mo Salah? That's 200 million pounds for each of them, because Mbappe costs 200 million and Mbappe is nowhere near Sadio Mane or Mo Salah. It's not about Jurgen Klopp being a bad manager. Do not confuse what I'm saying. I'm just saying in life, you have to know when you have to walk away. Folks, we've all been in relationships. It gets to a point where, even if you love somebody, they're just bad for you. They're stressing you out. Their family is too much, right? You never know you get home and the house is dirty and that stresses you out. Walk away. What's the principle, not how do you feel? Because Jurgen Klopp, warm, fuzzy, cool guy. You want to like him. You want to. Your biases say, love this guy. But like every supermodel, trust me, they have a clock. I don't want to go out till 3 a.m. in the morning on a Wednesday night. I don't want, like, they're insecure people. High maintenance. Jurgen Klopp is going to be high maintenance, and that's not his choice. Big energy. He's going to expect some feedback. Folks, it's over. I think the Liverpool thing is reset the clock now. Keep the core, because I'll tell you what, there's a bit of fatigue. You saw it last night. He said there's a bit of fatigue. Is the fatigue's not physical? I've said this before. The players at that level, they start to tune out the same message. Folks, his line is heavy metal football. Listen, I don't mind a heavy metal song once every 3 years, right? But I can listen to jazz, hip hop, alternative rock. I can listen to that 30 songs in a row. I can listen to maybe one heavy metal song a year. Jurgen Klopp says heavy metal football. I think it's over. If I'm a Liverpool fan, I'd like to see Liverpool make the right decision. Don't wait, because next year's going to be disaster. Don't wait. Leave now. Intelligent people know when to walk away. Not smart. Smart people never know when to walk away. If you've got any academic friends, right? They're the smart ones. They, like, their ego's through the roof. They'll figure anything out and they'll stay too long. And before you know it, they're lecturers in university. Should have walked away. Don't be smart. Be intelligent. Feel the room. Feel the mood. If you're Liverpool, you can feel it ain't the same as it was 2 years ago. Be honest. And you got to know when to leave when the relationship is over. By the way, breaking up's a skill, by the way. It doesn't have to always be ugly. It doesn't need to be Jose Mourinho at the end. Jurgen Klopp doesn't have to go down in flames. He doesn't have to be fired. Leave as it is now. They'll be top 6 this season. I said at the beginning of the season they won't make top 4. Yesterday, Klopp said fatigue. I said that at the beginning of the season. People told me I was crazy. Folks, these things don't last. Winning is hard. It's a tough business. It is a tough business to win. It's even harder when your manager's high maintenance. So Liverpool, walk away. That's what I'd do. I'd walk away and try and keep VVD, Mane, Salah, Firmino, who I think if Klopp stays, it's time to reset. Took 5 years last time to reset and win. All right. Love to know what you think. Love to know what you think. We'll finish off with this. Real Madrid, right? They have a decision to make because, listen, I'm a Chelsea fan and I like Real Madrid. They are my Spanish club, but there's a situation there. So before I get into this, I'm not a fan of excuses, right? I'm not a romantic. I want to be honest. It's shock horror to all of you. I'm single. I'm not a romantic. I'm not a romantic. I don't like excuses. I don't like hearing, how hard your life is. Life's hard for everybody. Just get on with it. Life's hard for all of us. The man under the bridge, obviously his life's harder than mine. But I don't want to hear people that work in my business or people that are qualified and people that are fine. You come from a 2-parent home. I don't want to hear how hard your life is. My life's hard as well. Everybody's life's hard. We all have families. We all have stuff going on out there. I don't care how much money you have. Life's a grind. Now, I like life. So for me, life's a grind, but, the outcome's great. I like life. But I don't do excuses, folks. I'm sorry. I'm not in the business of excuses. I don't tolerate excuses in my personal life. I don't tolerate excuses in my professional life. Does that mean everybody makes mistakes? All right. But maybe I'm extreme because I don't like medals. I don't like photos. Like everybody always asks me, like, where's your sporting stuff from high school? Where's all of that? I've never kept a medal in my life. I've never kept a certificate. I've never kept anything like that. My mother's got all that stuff. I've run a couple of 100-milers in my life. So if you don't know, in mountain 100-milers, you get to keep a belt buckle. They give you a belt buckle as for the achievement. I give it away. I'll tell you why. My mentality is this. I've already done it. On to the next thing. So I don't like excuses, and I'm not a romantic. Don't stop waiting for a pat on the back for doing your job. Just do your job, move on. That's how I look at life. Right? I do your job, and I don't want to hear excuses. Eden Hazard arrived at Real Madrid grotesquely overweight. This is not a body shaming thing. I'm just telling you within the context of being a footballer and being bought for 150 million pounds, I have no room for excuses. And as a Chelsea fan, I don't want to hear what he did for Chelsea. I don't want to hear how talented he is. I don't want to hear how well it went to Chelsea and they spent all this money. Folks, when people pay you money, this is just how I was raised. When we pay you money, that's not to say, okay, the job's done. That's when the promise starts. You ever had people come up to you in life? And I used to be like this. So, when people say, I promise you I'm going to do this, people think when they say, I promise you, oh, that's the end of the promise. No. When you say, I promise I'll do something, the promise is only fulfilled when you've done the thing. Not just because you've said it. We are what we repeatedly do, not what we say. Eden Hazard, 160 million pounds or whatever it may be. Sorry, my son. You can't pitch up overweight, and now he's had his 10th injury at Real Madrid in a year and a half. I must feel sorry for him. Sorry. I feel nothing for the guy. What is going on? Now, injuries happen, folks. I'm not saying people can't be injured. Life doesn't happen. Mistakes don't happen. Again, mistakes happen. We're all grown-ups. We're all, life happens to all of us. But I'm not going to tolerate, let's feel sorry for Eden Hazard. What is going on there? For 160 million pounds, you pitch up overweight, and now he's injured again. And people want to tell me we should feel for the guy. I'm sorry. One job. As a footballer, you have one job. Get in shape. What is this guy doing? 10 injuries. And they're all soft tissue, by the way. I heard somebody saying because he got kicked in the Premier League, it's catching up with him. Nonsense. It is pure and utter nonsense. What? Cristiano Ronaldo didn't get kicked in the Premier League. Ronaldo, even when injured, by the way, pristine condition. Eden Hazard has no excuses to be overweight and getting soft tissue injuries. He should be embarrassed. I'm sorry, if you're a sportsman, one job. If you're a mother of two, right, and you got your husband and a full-time job, and you're carrying around extra weight, I'm sorry, I understand that. Life's different. No, it's very, very different. When you're 160 million pound, 500,000 pounds a week footballer, and you're carrying 1% of body fat too much, I have no time for you. I have no time for that. So for everybody saying, boo-hoo, Eden Hazard, I'm sorry, he's brought this on himself. I feel absolutely nothing for sportsmen that cannot stay in shape. And Eden Hazard's one is absolutely even more revolting because you've come from the Premier League. Folks, money doesn't change people. It makes them more of who they are. Eden Hazard has just shown you, I'm sorry, that's a character defect, and I don't want to hear legend ever again. Chelsea legend, yes. Football all-time legend. There's no excuse to be overweight as a footballer. Again, you're a mom or dad of two, and you've got a marriage to look after, and you have a full-time job, and you got a team of 15 at work. You're carrying a couple of extra pounds around the midsection. Totally get it. Totally cool. You're playing at Real Madrid with the greatest sports scientists on this planet that money can buy. You can go from here to Timbuktu and Real Madrid will pay for it. and you're overweight and you're getting hamstring injuries because you're a little tubby. That's not acceptable to me, and I don't do excuses. I'm sorry, I'm intolerant, and I'm just some bozo in South Africa, and I don't tolerate excuses in my personal life. I'm not going to have Eden Hazard feeling sorry for himself because he pitched up overweight at Real Madrid. There is no excuse for that. There's not one viable excuse for being overweight at Real Madrid and being Eden Hazard, who we paid 150, 160 million pounds for. No, sir. No way. No way. There's absolutely not way I'm tolerating that. Those are my thoughts on that situation, because that is bubbling over, by the way. And by the way, if you don't know the tradition at Real Madrid, once the white handkerchiefs come out, he's so lucky the fans aren't there. Gareth Bale experienced it, and there's been others who experienced it. Robinho, I remember when he was leaving, the Madridstas, once the white handkerchiefs come out, by the way, that means we're done with you. And Eden Hazard, oh boy, is he lucky that there's no fans. By the way, vaccines out, you can expect fans within the next 2 to 3 months, I think, and that's going to be problems. So no excuses. Please, no excuses. Listen, you come from a shattered home and whatever, it's not an excuse, it's a reason. Right? Eden Hazard has somebody trample his ankle. That's a reason. Pitching up overweight is an excuse, and I have no room for excuses in life. I'm sorry. You come from a 2-parent home which weren't abusive, supportive. You got no excuse. Real Madrid is the most supportive environment. They will nurture their stars over the top. Over the top. And you pitch up overweight. Sorry. No good. No good. Listen, Premier League tonight, Chelsea Spurs. That could be interesting. Saucy one. Before you go, push that one. If you don't like the content, you can go back to, I don't know, fighting with your mother-in-law or whatever you were doing before this. I'm not sure how to respond to that. I can't see any of the comments. If there are any comments coming in for today, we'll just move on. So click that one if you like the content. Do nothing if you don't like the content. Remember, Betway South Africa, go and join me and Ben Karpinski on the Way to Go show. I give you 5 locks a week. Like, share, subscribe. Otherwise, this show is called the MKT Show. It is on Cliff Central Sport. Remember to like, share, subscribe as well. And if you'd like to get in touch, sport@cliffcentral.com. Otherwise, I am at MKT Inspires on all social media platforms. That's Mike Kilo Tango. That is MKT Inspires on all social media platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, you could have been anywhere with anybody. You chose to be with me. That is awesome. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, myself, MKT, this is the MKT Show on Cliff Central Sport. That is Gareth Cliff if you're watching on YouTube. For now, ladies and gentlemen, we are the hell out of here.